Welcome to Board Game Archaeologists, where we play time-worn games from the past. I'm Hunter,
I'm Rob.
and today we're looking at Racco.
Racco, made in 1961. This is the 1966 version. This is a very special game for me. I played it a lot when I was young. I think it was the game that kind of taught me numbers.
The objective of the game is to get Racco, and by getting Racco, you have your lowest number at the 5 notch, with the highest number being at the 50 notch, and all of the cards from there being in order. When you're playing with two people, there's an extra victory condition, and that is that 3 of those cards need to be directly next to each other in sequential order, so 46, 47, 48.
So you got 60 cards. I think there's 60 cards total. And you draw and you try to get your cards in order. And when you start the game, it comes with these cool plastic pieces that hold your card, like this. And it comes with 60 cards. You start by dealing 10 cards to each person. And when you're dealt the cards, you have to put them in order. They go 51st, 45 second. You can't sit there and pick them. You have to put them in as how they were dealt to you.
And from there, you'll take the remaining cards, put them down, flip one over, and that will be the discard pile. To do your round, you can choose rather to take from the discard pile and replace it with one of your previous cards, or by taking a new card off of the deck and rather choosing to use it or throwing it in the discard pile.
Yep, and so you basically take your turns by picking up a card. If it's smaller or bigger, I would take it and take that one out, put this one in, put this one there. And my goal is to try to get them all in order from lowest to highest. But my real goal is, especially if it's a two-player game, is to try to get that sequence of 3 as soon as possible. And when you get that sequence of 3, hold on to it. Because we both blew those sequences earlier in another game we were playing, and we already had it.
And sometimes that's not all that matters in a game, because Racco, when played right, is done over multiple rounds.
Right. You're going for 500 points. So when you win a game, say Hunter's got all of his, he gets to go Racco. He gets 75 points and then 25 points for Racco. But I don't think you get the 25 points when you're playing a two-player game, just the 75 points. But then you start actually counting your cards by points. So what you do is you start on 5, because it goes 5 to 50 here on your play plastic card holder, and you count in order until your sequence is broke. So say I go 6, 7, 9, 60, I can only count these first 3 cards. So 5, 10, 15, I only get 15 points for this deck.
And from there, players keep going on until someone hits the 500 point mark. And if 2 players rise above the 500 mark at the same time, whoever has the most points wins.
Right, and if they tie, they arm wrestle or something like that.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll draw cards or something. What do you think of the game?
I really like it. It's very simple, and it kind of is fun in the sense of, like, it's both entirely luck, but it gives you kind of an illusion of strategy where you're like, oh, well, this is a 13. I think there's a pretty good chance that if I put in the second spot, like, there's a lot of numbers above 13. Like, and so, like, that kind of thinking is very engaging, I think, for me. And so, and the fact that there's the numbers on the top of the card, so when you actually look at them in a row, the number is like where it is in the spectrum, which means you have a clear visual on it, and I really like that touch.
Yep. And again, I remember this from very early on in my childhood. I think they probably used it in school to teach sequencing or numbers or something like that, but I'm very fond of it. I always grab them whenever I see them. I got a couple copies of this one for sure. Yeah, I've always been a big fan, and being able to go Racco is always fun. I thought that was always cool. Super simple game to play. Yeah, it's just been one of those long time games. And again, I'm sure we played it wrong. I don't remember some of the rules that we found out. Like points, we never played for points. We just tried to get Racco and go Racco, and the game was over. So much like almost every game we played wrong when we were children because the rules just get overbearing. This is considered an adult game that the whole family can play. So, yeah, and you can play up to 4 players. You have the 4, but you can do teams. You can play 2 full decks if you really wanted to, I guess, if you could. So there's ways you can play around it.
Yeah, another big saying in the show, It would make a good drinking game.
Yes, it would.
Well, thanks for watching.
Yeah, and if you want to know more, check us out at toyarchaeology.com. You can find us on Facebook, and don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and tell your friends.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.